A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Marcus Aurelius. If there was a word I had to use to describe the core theme of One Piece, a phrase that embodies the ideas and concepts behind what makes this story so special, it would be dreams. Chasing them, experiencing them, creating them, inheriting them. What gives One Piece its whimsy and charm is its commitment to giving its characters dreams to strive for, and the ambition to make them come true, heroes and villains alike. For a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambition. But what happens when a man has no ambition? When he abandons his dream and looks down on those who chase them? Chapter 224, page 12 and 13. One Piece. The Laugh. The battle between Monkey D. Luffy and Bellamy the Hyena is a strange one. One that explores not only who Luffy truly is as a character, but also what One Piece is about at its core. The laugh signifies the start of their battle, but in a way that juxtaposes what a reader would come to expect from this type of story. Somehow, this small footnote in the ever-expanding tale of One Piece ended up impacting me like no other. Let us explore this fight, and to do so, we're gonna start at the beginning. No, I mean like the very beginning, like the start of the series, dude. The new pirate age took the world of One Piece by storm. The final words of the Pirate King himself breathed new life into those seeking fame and adventure. It is the whole reason this story even exists in the first place. The spark Roger created is not only embodied by our protagonist Luffy, but by every pirate we meet on our adventure. From lowly conniving clowns to criminal masterminds. The defining trait of every hardy pirate is an impossible dream and the ambition to make it come true. Every pirate has this. Everyone except Bellamy the Hyena. The kind of character Bellamy represents is important to One Piece. Pirates who care nothing for adventure or a love for the sea, those who care solely for plunder and strength. But Bellamy and his ilk take it a step further. It's not enough for them to live without dreams. They also need to take down those who are weaker than them and choose to hold on to fantasy. These are killers, ruffians to the highest degree. Bellamy's introduction shows him killing a guy over a card game and leaving the strip of Mocktown in ruin after a previous fight. Coming from a small-time island in the North Blue, Bellamy grew up despising fairy tales, being told stories of Nolan the Liar at a young impressionable age, seeing stories of El Dorado as nothing more than delusions. Taking off from his home once he was old enough, but with no purpose. They hunt pirates with high bounties, plunder for riches, then drink their money away, all while propagating their single belief. Those who die for the sake of their dreams are nothing but losers. The type of characters that us as readers, you kinda can't help but want to see these guys taken down a notch in the worst way. A feeling Oda deliberately wanted to exploit. Landing on the port town in Jaya, Luffy heads in with Zoro and Nami in tow to find clues as to how to get to the fabled Sky Island. Nami, making the two known troublemakers of the crew, promised they would not get into any fights during their search. Seeing these three on their own like back at the beginning of the story was very refreshing. And in hindsight for the coming events, this team was the perfect fit for the occasion. After a chance first time encounter with who we will come later to know as Blackbeard, Luffy and co come face to face with Bellamy. He comes in like a dark cloud, looking for Luffy because of his 30 million bounty. He offers him a drink, and then Bellamy attacking in this manner has a couple of connotations. First being his desire to size them up. Since he equates bounty amounts to physical strength, Luffy's current bounty must mean he's worth his salt as a pirate. Assessing him in this way was to see how much he could take or if he will fight back. A rigorous recruitment process if you ask me, and second was to simply assert his dominance. Since Bellamy has the highest bounty in the room, letting the new bloods know whose boss is mandatory, but Zoro was not having it. Tensions were high, the first punch was thrown and Luffy and Zoro were ready to throw down until... loud, roaring laughter from every pirate in the room. Luffy, Zoro, and Nami looked around confused and surprised by it. Bellamy completely dismisses Nami's pleas, calling the idea of a Sky Island nothing but myth waiting to be explained by modern science, with all the evidence they have gathered so far being cast aside as misguided wishful thinking. Bellamy berates Luffy for believing in fairy tales like the Golden City, Sky Islands, even the One Piece. The age of pirate pipe dreams is over. The rest throw drinks, calling Luffy and co trash. Here, I was certain Luffy was gonna put these guys in their place like he always does. Between him and Zoro, this group of clowns would be no match for them. Nami, feeling the same, tells them to fight back, but Luffy refuses. Luffy and Zoro were beaten, cut, thrown around, spit on by Bellamy and his gang. Without saying a word, they just took it. Nami begs them, but they will not budge. The bullying ends with Nami shamefully and confused dragging the two out of the bar where, for a second time, they meet Blackbeard. Now again, as a reader, I was really confused by this. Typically with situations like this, you would just assume that they would fight back. I mean, why not? Luffy is very clearly stronger than these guys. There's no reason not to fight them. They're making fun of them, calling them idiots, harassing them. They picked the fight first. This is a shonen. I want to see a fight. I just couldn't wrap my brain around what was going on when I first read this. I was so unbelievably confused until this scene. This is one of the most important panels in the series. It holds the weight of One Piece's entire ethos on its shoulders. Blackbeard shouts at our protagonist in a gesture of brotherhood, words that have stuck with me from the very moment I heard them. And even though it's not clear to Nami, this exchange explained to me exactly why Luffy did not fight back, and why I truly believe that One Piece is set apart from its contemporaries. I know what it's like to have dreams, to have a belief in something magical, to believe in things like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, Atlantis, dragons. Real or not, they give growing up a bit of magic you will not find anywhere else. That goes for dreams and aspirations as you get older too. Believing in making something of yourself, chasing your passions, doing something you believe in. It makes you want to work harder, smile bigger, just live life better. That excitement you feel when you even think about your dream is a wonderful feeling. I also know what it feels like to have your dreams stepped on. You'll never achieve it. You're wasting your time. Grow up and live in the real world already. Any artist who has chased after something they believe in has heard things like this before, either from friends, family members, co-workers, even yourself in those dark moments. It hurts. It feels awful. It makes you want to give up. Those hurt feelings manifested in Bellamy. Maybe at some point he had dreams too that were crushed. Maybe he was never given a chance to dream as a kid. Whatever the case is, Bellamy has now become the same as the people in our lives who put down our dreams. It is easy to be angry with them. It is easy to hate them. It is easy to want to lash out. But Luffy knew better. Those who set out to see do so with purpose, to be the absolute best and live the freest, to find that thing that makes life worth living. Those who abandon their hopes and dreams are the ones who are truly lost. Monkey D. Luffy went out to sea to become king of the pirates. Zoro went out to be the greatest swordsman who ever lived. Those dreams had led them to beat some of the strongest foes and adventure to the wildest places. People like Bellamy have already given up on what it means to truly live, and fighting them during that exchange would change nothing. In Luffy's eyes, they already defeated themselves. Bellamy lost the fight a long time ago. Sometimes you don't need to fight to prove your strength, for a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambition. This chapter changed something in me. I already love Luffy as a character by this point, and I already love the themes of this story. But this scene, it puts so much into context for me. And this is where One Piece had really set itself apart from other shonen. As I said earlier, it's easy to lash out when people laugh at your dreams. It is expected for the MC to dominate over his enemies to prove his strength. But Luffy did not fight. Not to protect someone else, not because he could not win, not even to prove a point to Bellamy. He chose not to fight because all that would have been left in his heart was pity. And for those reaching for the top, there is no room for doubt. Sometimes the best revenge is living free. This is where I fell in love with Luffy, and this is where I fell in love with One Piece. How the battle between Luffy and Bellamy ends is as you would expect, but boy was it satisfying. Bellamy's hubris brought him to beat up and steal gold from Cricket and the Monkey Crew, another dreamer fighting to find the truth of a legend regarding his ancestors and recent friend of the Straw Hat crew. Once Luffy found out what Bellamy had done, the gloves were off. This time was different. What is great about this part of the story is its parallel to the very first chapter of this series. Shanks was kicked down and had beer poured on him in front of Luffy by a gang of thugs. But instead of fighting back, he laughs it off. Luffy at the time didn't really get it because he was a kid, but once Luffy found himself in trouble, Shanks was willing to fight anyone, even losing an arm to save his friend and protect what was important. Inspired by that noble act, Luffy finds himself doing the exact same thing now. Allowing to let a fight go against an opponent who wasn't worth it, but now willing to show up to take down anyone who attacks his friends. Bellamy's crew was already afraid of Luffy because of his new bounty. Bellamy, still thinking he had a chance, wanted to fight. And I will say this, even though I hate this guy with every fiber of my being, the spring fruit is pretty cool. But what a waste. The fight ends in an instant. One big page spread of Luffy crushing Bellamy with one punch to the head. One of the most cathartic panels ever drawn. Now the dust has settled, the stolen gold has been reclaimed. Where Luffy sets his sights next is a topic for another video. Speaking candidly, I 1000% love the Jaya period of One Piece. Like I said earlier, it is where I really fell in love with this story. It's such a small footnote in this entire odyssey, but for some reason, it seems to resonate with people a lot because of how impactful it is. It really subverts your expectations when it comes to shonen series and how you think the main character will take action on a particular moment against an opponent. Everybody expects Luffy to fight when something like that happens, when people push him around or try to act like they're bigger and tougher than him. But because Luffy is so unpredictable, you never really know what you're gonna get. But every time he does something, it makes all the sense in the world, and I really appreciate Oda for creating a character who can be so unbelievably dynamic like this. You really don't get it in any other shonen, even to this day. There have been other situations, like the scene of Naruto getting beat up for the sake of Sasuke, that scene of Zenitsu taking a beating from Inosuke, but they all don't compare, in my opinion, to this particular scene. This is a series-defining scene right here. This is a character-defining scene, and I think it's probably my favorite scene in all of One Piece. Let me know down in the comments how you guys felt about this scene, how you guys felt about this fight. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And let me know if there's some other fights that you guys want me to cover. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. JohnnyStar out of here. Peace.